Hello, hello, and it's time for another British Guy Reviews American Beer. And today it's a brand new beer from Russian River Brewing Company, and it is a bottle of Dribble Belt. And Dribble Belt is a session ale coming in at 4.5% ABV. Now, I did have to look up what a Dribble Belt was, and apparently it is a part of the hop machinery that, as they are farming the hops, it separates the cones from the rest of the hop plant. So even this is a session ale, it doesn't really have a style descriptor, but I'm guessing it's going to be a hop forward 4.5%, probably session IPA type of beer. So pretty excited. It's not so often you get new beers to try from Russian River, especially, well, away from the brewery. We don't get that many to try. I'm sure this is probably one of those limited release beers that you can get at the brewery, but lucky enough to get a bottle down here in Southern California. So a session beer, as you may know, one of my favorite places to drink is at the brewery at Russian River. So I can imagine that sitting there on a summer's day with and knocking back a few quality session IPAs, that would be a pretty good afternoon in my book. So let's have a look at the beer. It's a light straw-coloured beer with a nice rocky 1.5 finger white head on the top. It's kind of like I said, it's a kind of rocky head. Little bit of carbonation streaming up the middle of the glass there. Yeah, semi-lively in the glass. Yeah, there's a lot of hop aroma straight off the bat. Kind of citrus, light citrus, bit of pine. It's kind of that. It's orange, lemon, and pine. Really, touch of sweetness. Nice clean aroma. A little bit of earthiness. Smells absolutely delicious. Probably smells more like a West Coast IPA. So if I were to smell this, I'd probably be thinking I was about to drink something a little bit stronger. But I guess that's the mark of a good session IPA, right? It still has all of those hop forward hallmarks of a more standard strength IPA. It's light, but it's got all of that hop character that was coming through on the nose. Nice and citrusy, nice and light, nice and clean. Little bit of breadiness there from the yeast. Touch of pine. And it is exactly what it says on the tin. It's a sessionable, super flavorful, light IPA, and very, very pleased with this. Again, I do like the Russian River bottles. I always talk about that. You get a good pour of beer, so I can drink a little bit out of the top of a pint glass, and I still have enough to top it up, and I've got a full pint of beer to go out. So you always feel like you get a substantial beer in their bottles. Got a nice bitterness on the back end as the beer's kind of washed off my palate. But it's not a super assertive bitterness. It's just kind of lingering around there nicely. A little bit of pine. Yeah, still a touch of sweetness in there, but generally a bit like a lot of the Russian River beers, especially the IPAs, finishes nice and dry and kind of sucks you in to want to taste a little bit more, which I absolutely will. And look at the beer and look at the rockiness of that head there. Yeah, very nice looking beer in the glass. Yeah, absolutely delicious. Um, get a little bit more of that pithy bitterness second time around. Um, but again, it's super clean, super sessionable, delicious. Uh, I'll call it an IPA. Super delicious session IPA. Probably one of the better ones I've had. And I'm kind of disappointed now that I've just got one bottle of this. But it is kind of $8 a bottle. And for a beer that I'm just going to kind of crush fairly quickly, it gets a little bit expensive if I was going to sit and session it. But very delicious. And if you get the chance to find this beer, just like I would say for the Russian River beers, if you get the chance to find them and buy them, then definitely try and get your hands on some. Really tremendous session IPA. So rating wise, I'll go all the way to 4 out of 5 for this. It's quite often, the kind of higher ABV beers tend to get the bigger ratings when it comes to the kind of Untapped app, and I always put my rating against the Untapped rating just for you guys to get a feel for what other people think of the beer, so you're just not getting my opinion. So with this being a kind of session strength, I'm wondering if it might have a slightly lower rating, but it's going to be up in the high threes. But for me, it's a 4 out of 5 beer, and if you get the chance, absolutely try and find it and try and enjoy it. So as always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment. Have you had this beer? Um, Dribble Belt from Russian River. If you have, what did you think of it? Are there any other good session IPAs out there that you would recommend that I try and get hold of? Always great to hear what you guys think. So until then, I'll see you next time, and cheers.